Hello, everyone. My name is Mary, and today I was given the privilege to talk about credit score. Before Greatway, I used to work in a financial company that deals with insolvency. And one of the things I've learned is the importance of credit score and how it affects our overall finances. As financial advisors, it is very important that we are knowledgeable in this area, that we have a very good credit standing, and this way we can also give service to our clients in this aspect, as this is one of the things that plays a huge part in our IRP and the strategy that we use. So let me just share my screen here. Perfect. Okay, great. So let's begin with what is a credit score and why is it important? So a credit score is a three-digit number that financial institutions use to evaluate your creditworthiness or how likely you are to pay back your debt. This little number can define your financial status in the eyes of many. It's a measure of trust. The higher your score is, the more likely you are to repay your debt, and the higher the chance to get approved for mortgages, loans, and credit cards and get a lower interest rate. So, a high credit score means low interest rates, and that means more money in your pocket. Your credit score is a number between 300 and 900, 900 being the best. And different financial institutions have different views of what a good score is, but the general consensus is that anything above 780 is considered excellent. Very good is between 720 and 780. Fair is between 680 and 720. Below average is 600 to 680, and anything below 600 is considered poor. If you have a score above 700, then you have a record of being good with your credit, and so you will be approved for loans and mortgages. But if you have a poor score, then you are considered higher risk, and so you may not be approved for loans and mortgages and credit cards. And even if they did approve you, they will probably charge you with a higher interest rate to make up for the higher risk. Plus, they won't be willing to lend you as much money as they would to someone with a strong credit score. So having an excellent credit score means saving so much money, and you can use it to leverage. Even if you're the type of person who doesn't want debt, I believe having an excellent credit score or credit standing is a valuable tool that you can just put in your back pocket and something that you can benefit from in case you need it. Plus, it's not just about borrowing money. Your credit score also come into play when you are applying for a job. Some employers often check your credit score to see if you are good with money and you can handle financial responsibility. So if you have a poor score, your chance to get that job might be affected negatively. Same thing goes when you are moving to a new apartment or a house. Some landlords check your credit score to see how likely you are to pay your rent on time. If you have a high credit score, then the landlord may choose you as a tenant. It's more the landlord is more likely to choose you as a tenant. So it's kind of like a background check when it comes to financial aspects. If you have a poor credit score, then that is a red flag. So now, if you're monitoring your score, then that's a good thing. You keep doing that. But for those of you who haven't yet, it is important to run your credit report and to monitor it because it will give you a lot of benefit. Maybe not now, but in the future. So the very first thing to do, of course, is to check your credit score. Here in Canada, there are two main credit bureaus, which is the Equifax and TransUnion. You can ask them directly for your credit report, but they will charge you for that. And what you can do is to use a service, a free service like Credit Karma and Borrowell. Credit Karma gives you your credit score calculated by TransUnion, and Borrowell is calculated by Equifax. These two credit bureaus calculate your score a little differently. So you have different scores depending on which one you check. And when you apply for a loan, you don't know if the lender will use your Equifax or your TransUnion. So it's very important to check both of them. Signing up to Credit Karma and Borrowell is totally free. They make their money by recommending credit cards and loans to you, depending on your spending habits. And they are almost similar. And what they will show you is your overall credit score, a graph showing the changes over time, and your credit report listing all the loans that you have, your credit cards, and all the inquiries that you made. And also, make sure that you pay attention to your credit report and make sure that there are no mistakes. Things like you missed a payment, or it might include a car loan that you never took on. These mistakes take a hit on your score. And if you don't correct them, it will continue to hurt your score. So it's important to check your report regularly or at least once a month. And if you see any mistake, all you have to do is call Equifax or TransUnion to correct it. And there is no downside to check your credit report regularly because it is considered as a soft inquiry and it does not take a hit on your credit. Later on, I'm going to discuss about the soft inquiry and hard inquiry. So next up is you have to know how your credit score is calculated. So just like how you are being graded in school, there is a certain percentage for your project, your homework, your attendance, tests, and all that. Your credit score is the same thing. There are different factors that affect your overall score. So if you want a perfect score, then all you need to do is to do well on all of them. And that's what I'm going to break down to you today. So the biggest chunk that makes up your score is your payment history, which is 35%. It's pretty straightforward. Always pay your bills on time and in full. Never ever miss a payment because it will ruin your credit score. And this includes everything: your car loan, your mortgage, internet, phone, student loan. And if you miss a payment, your credit score could drop significantly, and that missed payment will stay on your report for 6 long years. And also, you will be charged with huge late fees and interests. If you cannot manage to pay the full balance on your credit card, make sure to pay at least the minimum on time. You will still get charged with interest, but your score won't be affected. But as much as you can, never ever carry a balance on your credit card. The minimum payment is just for the worst case scenario. And the reason why some people drown in debt is because they get used to paying just the minimum. So they get charged with a lot of interest. So the next factor that makes up your score is your credit utilization, which is 30% of your overall weighting. And what it means is how much of your available credit you are using. The credit bureaus want to see that you are not out there maxing out all your credit cards, because carrying large balances on your cards means that you will not be able to pay them off in full, and that you might be having troubles with your bills. And in order to get a high rating on this, all you have to do is just use a small percentage of your available credit and keep it below 30% for each credit card that you have. And so the credit bureaus will see that you actually don't need all the credit that you have because you are that good with money. And so here's how it works. Let's say you have one credit card with a $2,000 credit limit and you used up $1,000. When you do the calculation, you used up 50% of your available credit, which is bad. It will hurt your score. And one way to get around this is to increase your credit limit. If you increase your credit limit to, let's say, 5,000 and you've spent the same $1,000, you are only using 20% of your available credit, and this increases your credit score. And another thing is to increase your limit, but make sure that you keep your spending the same. And also, you can use multiple credit cards. That way, you can spread out the purchases among the cards, and each card will have a low utilization, especially if they have high credit limit on each of them. Just make sure that you only use these credit cards for necessities like groceries, phone bills, gas, and the essentials for you to live. So the third factor is your credit history, which makes up to 15% of your credit score. That means that your score increases the longer you have credit. The sooner you start, the better. And this is something that you don't have much control over. All you have to do is be patient. So how does this work? Let's say you have two credit cards. One you opened 4 years ago, and the other one you just got this year. The one that you have 4 years ago contributes more to your score than the new one. So never ever cancel old credit cards. If you cancel the one that you have 4 years ago, you will lose all the benefits that you gained over the years. So another thing is that if you keep opening a new credit card, then it affects your credit history rating because this is calculated by the average length of your total credit history. If we calculate the two credit cards that you have, your credit history is 2 years. So there's really nothing you can do about it. All you have to do is to wait this one out. And the next factor that affects your credit score is your credit mix, which makes up to 10%. Having different types of credit like mortgage, auto loan, credit cards, and all that shows that you can handle your debt responsibly. But that doesn't mean that you need to go out there and just apply for all different types of loans just to increase your credit score. It only means that it is good to diversify your forms of credit and keep them all in good standing. And the last factor that makes up your credit score is the credit increase, which is 10%. And here's how it works. Every time you apply for a new credit card, loans, or mortgages, it is reported to the credit bureaus as a hard inquiry. And if you do a hard inquiry in a month, it's okay. Your score might drop probably by 2 points. But if you apply for, let's say, 10 different loans in a month, then it's a red flag. And the credit bureaus and lenders might think that something happened and you're just desperate for money. So there will be times though when you need to shop around for mortgage or a car loan, and of course you need to apply to different lenders to find a better deal or a better rate, and each of them will run your credit report. Don't be afraid to do all these applications, because if you did all of these within a span of 2 weeks, the credit bureaus will group them together as one single inquiry, and so your score will not drop significantly. So all you have to do is to strategize this move. So now that we know how we are being graded by the University of Debt, I'm going to show you a strategy that can help boost your credit score and at the same time put some money in your pocket. And that is to use your credit cards in all your transactions. This is something that I don't recommend to everyone because some people cannot control their spending, including me sometimes. And if you know that you have that issue, then just use cash or debit. That's the only thing that you will gain from using cash. You can control your spending. Other than that, there's really no benefit, because when you use cash, of course, you cannot spend more than you have. But like I said, it's just there's no benefit. It's just money down the drain. So if you use your credit card and you pay your bill on time and in full every time, then that builds your credibility, because when you use a credit card, you are using a borrowed money. So when you pay it within the terms that you agreed on with the lender, then that shows that you are reliable. Plus, by using credit card, you can basically make money through rewards or cashback. So check which credit cards meet your needs. I personally use the cashback, and it's amazing how you can make thousands of dollars. But like I said, do not justify your spending just because of these cashbacks. And it doesn't really make sense if you're going to pay for the interest anyway. So this one is a slippery slope. So be responsible when using these credit cards. And my mindset is that I use my credit cards like cash. And here's an example. If you spend $10,000 a year in cash, then there's no benefit. That's just money down the drain. But if you use a credit card, you'll earn 2% and 4%, between 2% and 4% in cash back. And that's about $200 to $400 of free money. And if you don't want to use your credit card, but you want to build your credit score, or let's say you are a student or an immigrant and you can't be approved for a credit card because you don't have any credit history, then what you can use is a secured credit card. And it works like a regular credit card, but you have to put in an initial deposit, which serves as a security. If you get approved for a secured credit card with, let's say, a $1,000 limit, you have to pay a deposit of 500 to 1,000, and this is used as a collateral, and it is fully refundable. So to summarize, number one is to check your credit score regularly. Always pay your bills on time and in full. Decrease your credit utilization. Don't cancel old credit cards. Handle your credit mix. Strategize hard inquiries. And use credit cards instead of cash. So that is everything for me today. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you learned something and be able to apply it in our business.